Hi everyone, dannylau here with Lion Real Estate, empowering individuals and families with financial success through real estate. Today I want to talk about how to make your offer stand out from competitions and how to win in a competitive market. So really quick, brief overview background information for you is that in 2021, right now, we're in a super competitive seller's market. And what that means is that inventory is really tight. And so any well-priced, attractive listings that come on the market are gathering a lot of information from buyers. And they are interested in writing over the asking offers. And so for you to win your dream home, there are a couple of strategies so that you can stand out from amongst the crowd and help you beat out your competition. I want to talk about what strategies you can use, but before I go there, I want to first by discussing what an offer really is. So to me, an offer has four major components. Four components of an offer. The first part is the offer itself. And so what that means is that your agent is sitting down with you. Now you guys are hammering out what you're really offering. What is the address? What is the price that you're offering? What is the close of escrow? What's the timeline? What is the contingency period? And so this offer will outline basically the entire transaction. Here in California, a typical transaction time is 30 days. And so to make your offer more competitive, you may want to consider shrinking the amount of days from 30 down to 25, 21, or even shorter. And obviously, from the seller's standpoint, the faster you get your money, the more attractive it is. So we want that timeline to be shortened. Of course, it goes without saying that the higher the price, the more attractive to a seller because they're getting more money. However, when it comes to a high price, if you have a loan on your purchase, you should also be aware that appraisal may be a hurdle. Because if a property is worth $350,000 and you go ahead and write $600,000, no bank is going to lend that much over the asking unless you have a major significant down payment on that property. And so I know I used a really exaggerated example, but basically the heart of it is that appraisal should be something that you keep in mind. Beyond the timeline of the entire transaction, timeline for the loan contingency, inspection contingency, and also the appraisal contingency should also be very mindful. This is the part where your agent is going to work hand in hand with your lender. They're going to hammer out a lot of detailed information on how fast the lender may be able to get the appraiser out to the property so they can get an appraised value back. How fast can you as the buyer provide documents to the lender so that they can process everything on time, and from a 21-day lending period, they can shrink it down to 17, 14, or even shorter. One of my favorite tools is to shrink the inspection contingency period, because during that time, essentially, buyers is entitled to be able to see the house, to inspect it, and to approve of the condition of the home prior to committing to the property. And so in the seller's shoe, the more time you have to think about it, the less certain the deal is going to shake out. And so the shorter time frame for an inspection contingency signals to a seller that you're really committed to the purchase. Beyond that, there are also miscellaneous things where we can strengthen your offer, such as paying for escrowing title, such as having a higher deposit amount down. But that kind of goes beyond the scope of this particular conversation. And so that's the first component of an offer, which is the offer itself. And the second component is going to be your pre-approval letter. So your pre-approval letter is going to be a critical part of your offer, because a pre-approval letter from somebody who has a really good reputation in the local market and somebody who is a faceless, nameless person from a corporation is going to make a huge difference in how your offer is going to be perceived. I don't want to pick on any big corporation per se, but you can name them on top of your head. The big banks, the loan companies that's all over the radio commercials, any of those military credit unions that you see and hear on the television commercials. All of those I really would be wary of when they are a national organization. Sometimes when I need to get a hold of the lending side of the transaction and say, hey, how fast can we get something done? And I pick up the phone, guess what? There are 3 different time zones away from where I am in a call center where nobody knows the exact ins and outs of the file. And so they're just going to look at their system and tell you whatever they're going to tell you. And also, they don't work after hours. If I'm on Saturday, I'm showing a property, and then we fall in love with this property and we want to write an offer on this property right then and there, and we need a pre-approval letter. Guess what? Saturday, Sunday, banker hours, they're not there, and you may lose out on an offer. So not only is big organizations, big lending organizations harder to work with, beyond that, local lenders have a good reputation. Local lenders who has a good reputation usually can help your seller gain more confidence in the offer, to know that they have a track record of successful closing on time and delivering the promises. And so having a pre-approval letter from somebody who is trusted and loved in the local community is going to go a long way. And so this is where we talk about the component number 3. And I like to use this trick sometimes. And it's really not a big secret because quite a lot of people use it, which is letter to seller. But I do want to emphasize on this point, because a letter to seller is not just to tell you, hey, I want your house, sell it to me. That's not going to work. Let the seller see a story. Because even though money is important, even though getting your money faster, the timeline is important, emotion is also important, especially in a residential purchase. And so our goal when writing a letter to the seller is going to say, hey, who you are in the first place. Tell them about your family. Tell them about you. Let them get to know you as a person. And so that way, if I'm selling a house, I would love to sell it to somebody who is going to love this home that I have worked so hard on for years to come, than to sell it to somebody who is going to say, I'm going to trash it. And so every seller is going to be a little different, and everybody places the value of emotion a little differently. But let's say you're within $5,000 off the highest offer, and you write a really touching letter. Even though the seller may not immediately accept it, but maybe they would say, hey, I'm going to give you a second chance to come up a little higher. Can you do better? And at that point, the decision is back to you, and you are able to be in the driver's seats to say, okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Am I realistically able to want to step up another $5,000? And so the seller may place a special value in terms of emotion. And it also, something I also encourage my buyers to do is to share, family photos, personal photos. Share them pictures of your baby and pictures of your dog, because people connect, especially right now in a pandemic world where we lack that human touch. And so being able to connect goes a long way. And last but not least, the fourth component. This is what I actually consider probably, I was going to say is probably the most important component, but that's not true. The most important component arguably is going to be the number one, which is the offer. If the house is worth $1 million and you wrote $700,000, it's not going to work. But if everything is in striking range, this part really comes to play critically. And that's homework. Oh. My pen decided to not work right now. Okay, homework. There we go. What I mean by homework is the intangible part of an offer. That's my relationship as an agent with the local community. That is the part that before I write an offer, I go call the listing agent and ask them, hey, I don't want to send an offer blind. Are you having 0 offers? Are you having 5 offers? Are you having 100 offers? All of those factors is going to change the way I approach the situation. That's number one. Hey, is there anything else that's important to your seller besides the price? Because once again, price is important. But maybe the seller goes, hey, I'm doing a transcontinental move. I need time to pack up the house. And so, rather than taking the highest offer, I'm going to take the second highest, who's going to give me a month and a half time to move for free. So there's different ways you can structure an offer and to play to the advantage of the buyer. A buyer's agents really need to do the homework. Now, that intangible part of the homework obviously has a role right before you write the offer. But more importantly behind that is how long the agent has been in the community and what type of relationship this agent has with the local agents who are his or her peers. Because if this agent, who is always burning bridges, I have a bad reputation of not closing deals, when I write an offer for you, the listing agent is going to not want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. And so having good relationship, having a network of people that can really boost your credibility and your offer just by working with the right person with a good reputation and a good record. And so those are the 4 major components of an offer. And I also covered how to make those components shine. Think of all these 4 different components as a lever where you can push them a little higher to make each lever a little bit more attractive so that you stand out amongst the crowd. Now, at the end of the day, if somebody is writing an offer that is $1 million in cash over the asking, well, there's a next house for you to fall in love in. And so if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and I'll really appreciate it if you comment below. Let me know what you think, and if you'd like us to talk about a different topic next time. It's been a really fun episode. This is Danny Lau. See you next time.